Hello, it's Gary Hewitt here from Microshifting, and today we're going to do something more than a little bit different. So I'm going to talk about these little devices, and every time I do, everybody gets really excited and says, "Oh, I want to try that." So I figured I would sort of document this, how to put this together, so that people can try this for themselves. So what this device is, this is known as a bass shaker. And you've probably run into one of these without knowing what it is before in a movie theater where, there's an earthquake and your seat shakes. These are the types of devices that cause that to happen. And you're probably saying to yourself, what on earth are you doing talking about these things? Well, that's a good question. What I figured out is that if you play binaural beats through these, then not only do you get the audio effect of a binaural beat, and I'll explain what that is in a second, but you also physically feel it as well. And the same thing with solfeggio frequencies. Now, these are frequencies that are reputed to have a very good effect on the body, depending on the particular frequencies. And so I decided to explore them a little bit. I have in the studio, I have some great big stereo speakers. And, when I play binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies, I can feel them because the speakers are so big, they can easily shake the house. But when I'm lying down in bed at night, a lot of times, like a lot of people, I'm sitting there staring at the ceiling, wishing I was asleep. And so I thought, well, what if I could simulate that same effect? And what if I could feel the binaural beats instead of just listening to them? Now, I have a stereo system on the head of the bed, so it's set up so that I can hear the stereo field, which is important with binaural beats because you've got to have one frequency in one ear and a different frequency in the other ear. And if those frequencies happen to be in the difference between the frequencies, that's the important part, is you have one frequency here and a different frequency here. And if the difference happens to be in what's called the delta range, which I believe offhand is 4 to 7 hertz, then first of all, your brain starts to figure out that difference going on between them. And it starts to play what I call follow the bouncy ball, in that it starts to go into that delta mode. And that delta mode is typical of when you are asleep. So it tends to make it far easier for you to fall asleep. So then I said, okay, so what would happen if I put one of these at one side of the foot of the bed? It's under the mattress. And then another one on the other side. And so here now you have these, and these don't make sound. What they do is they turn the energy, the vibration, into a bigger vibration. They can shake the bed, they can shake the floor if you turn them up. You don't need them very loud for this effect. You want it just at the level where you're barely conscious of the feeling. And then your body feels these waves going over it. So that's what I have found. And I've got a playlist of, sub-bass beats that I've put together in my channel. And I'll point out some of them here. There's one with this nice little U curve. It's about 12 hours long. And it just takes you from, through the theta range down into delta and so on. And when I play that one, I tend to get a very good night's sleep. Now, I'm not going to recommend that you do this constantly. If you're going to play them through the night, I would suggest, start with a night or two and take some time off, but maybe at best do 5 nights in a row and take 2 nights off so that your body has its own natural sleep, and it may not be as good a sleep as you're having with the binaural beats, but your body may need to do some other things and what. At least that's what I found is you go not quite stir crazy, but there's something that happens if you start going 7 or 14 days straight with this, and you really need just the natural sleep cycles to sort of flush that out. But other than that, I have been feeling wonderful. I've been getting much, much better sleep thanks to these things. So all that's required to do this, so like I say, you need 2 of these. So one, I will put the parts list in the description. They're not affiliate links. I reserve the right that maybe they will be if this thing becomes very popular, but right now I don't have any affiliations with anybody. So it takes 2 of these to do it because you need the different frequencies, especially with the binaural beats. Then you need a small amplifier. Now this is known as a Class D amplifier. There's not much to it. Very, very small. You don't need a lot of power with a Class D amplifier. Again, a lot of us that like to listen to, a little bit of an audiophile ear, you have great big amplifiers, great big transformers. Those are typically Class A amplifiers, but I won't get into the distinction with the electronics behind it, but a Class D is way, way more efficient. And they were doing great stuff with electronics these days that gets rid of most of the harmonic distortion that would occur in these. So I wouldn't suggest a Class D amplifier if you want to listen to, if you want to really listen to music itself. But for the purpose of the shakers, this is perfect. And again, it'll be in the parts list below. You'll need an adapter. So there's, your iPhone or Android, whatever, to get to your headphone jack. Now, I use a stereo splitter, and again, it'll be in the parts list. The idea behind this is I can go between this amplifier and the amplifier that's handling the stereos on the headboard. So this splitter allows me to split. This is a stereo splitter, so I'm getting stereo out from the phone, and then I'm getting double stereo here, and then you need a jack like this, which is a stereo jack to RCA inputs, and that goes into the amplifier. And again, it'll be in the parts list below. So you put all that together, and then you balance the volume. Like I say, I don't want to hear too much of the music, so I turn the music way, way down, and I just want to feel the vibrations. When you first hear like 528 hertz, you just want to crank it up and go, oh, you're just so relaxing. But for sleep, you want it to be very subtle, and your mileage may vary, but find the frequencies that work for you and find the volume that works for you. So anyway, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they've all said, tell me how it's done. So hopefully this video, along with the description, will give an explanation of how to put all this together so that you can enjoy this for yourself. All right. Thank you very much.